And thank you again. Thank you for joining us tonight for another edition of Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. I want to thank everybody, as usual, for sticking with us. We're almost at year number 2 now, episode number 65, and we've had an array of guests. And tonight, super excited because this is going to be an informative one. Players and coaches. I've been so excited for this one to come to fruition. Tonight, we have the associate head coach of the All Air Force team, Coach Mike Richardson. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, man, my pleasure, man. Like, this one right here is probably going to get clipped up probably a lot because so many people don't know about the All Air Force and the Military Cup, as well as eligibility, freezing, and all of that good stuff. And man, I wanted to bring you on because I was just so excited. And, before we start, man, I definitely want to shout out Coach Little for even opening my eyes to this, man, because I've been texting him like, hey, man, tell me some more about this. I want to know everything. And because we're getting to the point in college basketball, a lot of these coaches like to go older, and my goodness, this is tailor-made for a lot of coaches that are interested in older players, and I wanted to bring you on to talk all about it. So, man, we're going to jump right into this and go from A to Z. So I hope you got a little time in that hotel room, man, because I'm excited, man.
Yes, man, we're excited, man. I'm excited. I'm sure all the other coaches are excited from other branches of service. We are just glad, elated that we get opportunity to on this platform to share what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just one of those things where you have a lot of prospects, they don't understand the value of what the military brings in so many different ways. It helps young men and women grow up and mature, but this basketball option is going to end up being a valuable piece for a lot of prospects that, for one reason or another, maybe they didn't have the money, because as we know, D3s don't offer scholarships. And with them not offering scholarships, some families can't afford $25,000, $30,000, $40,000. But if you go to the military and you get on the GI Bill, that's going to take care of that bill, correct?
Most definitely. Yes, sir. You are so true. As CLIC, punched in there, facts. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a great opportunity. It provides not only for those non-athletic men or women who come in the service, but nothing has changed. It's still there. Montgomery GI Bill, they gave it another name, but it's still there.
Yes.
Where young men and women who may be overlooked coming out of high school or didn't get the exposure or anything out there for those big opportunities, well, the military provides another option of that. And that's through our what the Air Force calls the WCAP program, which is we have a lot of folks who are, believe it or not, we're Olympic hopefuls in other sports, not just basketball. Mm-hmm. So, but basketball does give those options, which they come in, they enlist, or some ways commission into the military. As you know, they're if they haven't played a minute of NCAA basketball or whatever the sport, their clock freezes. They're
exactly. Mm-hmm.
They come in, they enlist, they get the opportunity to try out for the all services team, which each service has their own team. Army has one, the Navy, the Air Force / Space Force as well, because we just added the Space Force, so they fall under us as well. And Coast Guard tags along with the Navy, Marine Corps, as well as the Army. And what happens is they have about a 2-week tryout camp. It's by invitation only. They actually get their exposure. Myself, I go out. I hit the road just like a college coach. I'm on base to base. I'm going to different military tournaments all across the nation. I get out there and I see these young men and women who are out there hooping and who have some talent. And I'm not afraid to go up to them and, hey, where'd you play at? Sir, I didn't play anywhere. I came straight in. Oh, do you know about the All Air Force program? Do you know we have a basketball program? And a lot of times they'd be like, oh, no, didn't know that. Well, here's what's going to happen. I'm exchange, give you my information. Be on the lookout. When this window opens, this application window opens, need you to apply. We get your leadership. Everybody has a boss. Mm-hmm. You get your leadership involved, your commander, your commanding officer, your first sergeant, whoever, to bless it, to allow you to come on for about a month to get away from the job. You come down, you try out here in San Antonio, 2 weeks, and we let you hoop. You come down here and you hoop. Normally we invite about 20 to 24 individuals from the whole entire lot of Air Force, and we got probably anywhere about 400,000 airmen, so worldwide. And so we get applications in, normally average around in between 100 to 150 applicants come in. And I thoroughly vet these individuals. I go through their resumes. I'm checking out where they played at, their references. We check them. I call other service coaches who's in the area, and we go through the whole gamut. And like I said, we just finished our round of cuts. We're now down to our final 12. We're getting ready to gear up and head to San Diego this Friday for the Armed Forces tournament, which is a double round robin format, which means we play the other 3 branches twice, 7 games in 7 days. It's very strenuous. It's big time. It's probably one of the most competitive. The rivalries. You think the NCAA Army Navy game is big? You haven't seen this tournament. This is the granddaddy. We battling for that gold medal. Everybody's coming and they're bringing their best. As I see, starting to see the other coaches chime in right now. BJ Bartley, he replaced Carl Little. He's now the new All Army head coach. Coach Michael Barner is our tenured coach. He's been the longest tenured coach. The rest of us are kind of young rookies. He's been at the helm for about 10 years, so he's the elder statesman. Okay. And no doubt I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wouldn't been for CL Little. He helped me out a lot. We go way back. We worked together when he was in the Air Force, and then he fell and bumped his head and became a member of the Army, and he became the enemy. So, that's my guy. So I'm excused, you know. And I tell people anytime when you come across good people, you always want to keep them in your network. And, you know, Coach Little's a great guy. And like I said, you know, he's the one that put us together. And, you know, I just look at this like I really think this is going to be something that takes off for the people that don't know about it, as well as some, like we said, some of the, you know, young men and women that didn't, you know, unfortunately didn't get the exposure piece in high school or post-grad. This is another option, as well as
it's not like you're coming out of pocket. You're going to be working in the military and you're getting a valuable trade of some sort, whatever you chose to do. And I think this is a win-win situation. And now, I want people to understand, because I know one of the big questions people are going to ask is this going to the Army, like going to the academy, the service academy? And I wanted you to explain that's not the case.
No, that's not the case. When you come in enlisted, there are programs for those individuals who want to go to academy, but what you're basically enlisted into the United States military, whatever branch you decide to go in. You have a normal job every day, 365, 24/7. Your job, you may be a personnelist, you may be a cyber individual, you may be into intelligence, whatever the case may be. That's your primary job. However, there are opportunities for you, not only active duty, but we also have positions for the guard and reserve who come in and serve their 1 weekend a month, 52 weeks a year. So those processes, those individuals come in, they have their own job. And once the cycle comes up for the time for the tournament, they get to try out. But once again, they have to be released from their leadership or their unit that they're assigned to go what we call temporary duty, or TDY, to play basketball for a month and a half. And I always tell our players to cherish it, to embrace the opportunity, because there's no guarantee that you can come back next year. You don't know when or if you're going to come back next year, because tomorrow's not promised to anyone. We don't know what the state of the world is going to be. We could be in war at this time next year. So they take advantage of the opportunity, and it's a blessing. And on top of that, we also have those other coaches. Coach Little, for instance, he used this platform as a stepping stone to get to where he's at. So not only is it big for players, but the coaches as well.
Absolutely.
But no, it's not an academy. But there are, if they want to go to the academy, there are certain programs that qualify them they can qualify for to go to the academy. First, they got to maintain and get that bachelor's degree or whatnot in a certain field that's accepted for the service.
So, man, I got so many questions tonight, so I hope you have some time tonight.
Let's go. Let's go. Shoot.
So for your military team that you're referring to, so I can come in as an officer. So let's say I did play college basketball, and I could come in, a lot of times you come in as an officer, correct? Like once you get your degree, I can still play for this team, correct?
Correct. Matter of fact, I have currently on this team our head coach, Captain Justin Hammonds. He played for this team in 2017. He's also an Air Force Academy graduate who played 4 years at the Air Force Academy. We also have 2 players currently on this year's team who are also Academy graduates, as well as we have an OTS grad who flies the drone aircraft.
Okay.
Who played at North Carolina Wesleyan.
Okay.
So yeah, yes, they are eligible to play as well. Active duty, guard, and reserve. If they are eligible to play in this tournament or to participate.
Okay. Now, one of the things I know people that are just learning about this, that people are just learning about this. And listen, I appreciate you all as well, because like I said, we all learning about this. And I've been talking to a number of people about this. They're like, they knew about it, but they didn't know about it to this extent. So when you have this military cup that you're referring to, do college coaches ever come and check out some of the players or even recruit them?
Well, that's a good question. We have a few that actually know about the program. There are a lot of coaches out there who actually participated in the program who are now college coaches. So they they kind of use the same stepping stone as, one of the ones that paved the way for us. Carl Littles paved the way for us. We have Coach Smith, who was at Our Lady of the Lake. He was a previous Army coach before Carl was.
Okay.
We got currently a former Navy coach who is now at I want to say in IUPI out there in Indiana.
Yeah, IUPUI. Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's over there. He's
Okay.
a member of the program that's came through this way. One of the biggest prizes to come out through this program was Bernard James, who started off as security forces, basically a cop in the Air Force, showed up and showed out in this Armed Forces tournament, went on to play all Armed Forces, Team USA. Leonard Hamilton out of Florida State saw him, sent him to a JUCO, pulled him up in JUCO. Next thing you know, this kid's a lottery pick.
That's incredible, right there.
It can't happen. It can't
Those
happen.
are stories that need to be heard because we're like basketball is getting so competitive. It's going to have to be no stone unturned, whether it's the military, whether it's JUCO, whether it's Canadian, whether it's you have to go to college over in France and get your master's and play. Like a lot of people need to know about all of this. Coach Crenshaw, that's my guy. Coach Crenshaw was at Ball State before he was at IUPUI.
Came through the program.
Okay.
On the All Navy team.
Okay. And like I was saying, like just listening to what you're saying, like you young coaches that are listening, this is a great opportunity for you guys to, to sharpen your skills as well. Like, man, I'm looking at this like, man, that's why I've been so excited when Coach Little first told me about, like, he was on the show and like I heard him, but my mind was just spinning because I was like, okay, as soon as the show was over, I was texting him, like, okay, tell me some more about this. Who I need to talk to? And then he was like, absolutely. Here you are. And man, my question is, why aren't more college coaches coming to these events? Because they're tailor-made for what they're looking for.
Yes, sir.
Hey, college coaches, you all need to definitely check this out. This is a situation where people if I'm a recruiting coordinator, this would be one of my yearly stops because for a number of reasons. Number one, for you D2, D3, and NAI coaches that don't give full scholarships, I know, and I can speak from experience when I'm sending players to certain schools, and if I say, hey, that kid is, usually it's the parent that's on the GI Bill, so the kid is covered under the GI Bill, and those eyes go just like this. Where do we need to do, and especially if they can play? So I know this is tried and true, and this is just another extension of AAU, JUCO, post-grad. This is another extension of it. So, man, listen, you college coaches that are hungry, you younger ones, I expect you all to totally pull up if you can this weekend or at the very least at the end of April, because I know I'll be there. I'll be covering the event. So if you can't make it, the next thing I say, Coach, is it live stream? Let me ask that.
Yes, sir, it is. The National Military Basketball Tournament is live streamed. Normally, the All Armed Forces Tournament this weekend is live. This week that happens over the next week is live stream. We're working that right now. As you can see, Coach Michael Bonner, he is actually the host this year. He's hosting with the Navy, so we're trying to get that live stream fixed. So that everybody can get out there and see it. Normally, it's posted on YouTube. You can go out right now and see the last 4 tournaments that we've had on YouTube. They're still out there. Say, just type in Armed Forces Basketball, and you get to see what we're doing. 2019 was the last year that we had it. So it's been 3 years since COVID. So we're getting geared up. Everybody's excited because it's been 3 years since we got to meet up on the hardwood. So it's going to be something. All those coaches, college coaches that's in the Cali, West Coast area, we coming. Also, another plug in there that's also on Veterans Day, November 11th. They're going to be playing Gonzaga, and Michigan State are going to be having that game on the ship again.
Oh, on the ship, yes.
Out there in that area as well. So that's some more incentive. So there's going to be some college coaches in the area. And Coach Little put on probably two of the most predominant coaches lately is Greg Popovich, as we all know. He played all Air Force basketball.
Okay.
As well as played on Team USA. Coach K played for All Army. He was a West Point grad. He also played in this program. So if you look back to the past 2 years or the past couple of Olympics, those coaches with that military background have been our coaches.
Exactly.
Which is Greg Popovich, Coach K before him. So hey, we got a long, great history. The National Military Basketball Tournament, that's the one you're referring to. That's in April. Everybody's invited. That one is live streamed. That's a tournament that I run.
Okay.
I organize. I put everything together. We have a dynamic prize package. We bring in the best varsity military teams in the country to San Antonio. They come in and they got a 3-game guarantee bracket, double elimination. They battle. We rank them, we seed them, and we let them hoop. Also, we bring in some of the best referees, officials to come in, who are also prior military, who are D1 officials. Conferences such as the ACC, Big Ten, Sun Belt, SEC, Big 12. We have them all. I bring in the top officials that love to do this. They do this because they're prior military. They know what we do. They come down and they love doing it at, they don't charge us that much. You know, they take a loss basically, but they love to do it. So that's why they come down and they provide some of the best officiating that military basketball has to offer. It is a great opportunity for those coaches who want to learn their craft and continue to pursue their craft in coaching. I tend to further on my education and to continue to work at the craft and hopefully link on to a college staff somewhere, because I've done everything already from grad assistant to Debo. I've done all that while I was in the military. I also coached at the JUCO level. You know, we did those things. We're serious. We're serious about it. The players are serious about it, and there are a lot of hidden gems in the military, that untapped talent that people have not seen yet.
And I can only imagine that, and that's why I wanted to tap in, because I just thought to myself, I know it's not uncharted, but I feel like the National Military Basketball Tournament needs some more exposure, because I know I'm gonna find some guys that can hoop, and I know I'm going to be calling coaches while I'm there and said, hey, you need to get down here or you need to get on that live stream, one or the other. And I'm just so looking forward to this, because it just makes all the sense in the world to see this come to fruition. And I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for what Coach Little helped put together. This is going to be big. And, you know, Coach Bonner, brother, I'm looking forward to meeting you as well. Coach Hammonds as well. I'm looking forward to meeting all you guys, because I really think this is going to really take off to be something really big. And, you know, when I see something that is not only worthwhile, that's going to help not only prospects, but in the grand scheme of things, even if you don't make the military team, because it's quite competitive from what you just said, you still have this military background to help you get a trade. Or, you know, one of my good buddies, when I first was talking to this about him, we both work in the IT field, and what better place to get that IT training, because you're getting, as you know, you're getting that clearance, and you get that clearance and you work in IT.
That saves the government or that company about $100K to do a background check on you.
Exactly. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. But a lot of people don't know about, well, let's put basketball to the side, but a lot of people don't even know just that part. Like when you go to college, you got to know how to hustle that degree. Well, when you go to the military, you need to know how to hustle that experience. What do you want to do to get yourself ahead? Like, yeah, you can get out and you go work at the post office or do whatever the case may be. But, if you want one of those higher paying jobs, the military can train you for it. And a lot of people don't know that.
You are exactly right. I did 12 years as what we call a military training instructor or a drill sergeant when I was on active duty. And I always tell folks that I've mentored or I've supervised, and they say, hey, you know what, Mike, I'm thinking about getting out. I've had enough. The first thing I tell them is, hey, make sure you have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Jump out there, because you're going to learn the real world is harsh.
Yes.
It's harsh. And one of those things that coaches like at these levels, they want those character guys. They want those polished guys,
mm-hmm.
or young ladies who've been seasoned. They're already mature. They already know responsibility. They put their life on the line. Mm-hmm. So they know that type of leadership is hard to come by. Where you go to many mid-majors, some of those folks, it take about 4 years, for them to get that maturity.
Yes.
Yeah. It's nothing like getting a guy with senior type maturity as a freshman.
There you
to
go.
lead your team.
I couldn't agree more with that. And to me, I believe, well, let me ask this before we even go any further. How can coaches register to come to the event? Because I got a good inclination that after this, you're probably going to get hit up a lot about how can we come and, scout some of this talent.
Okay, so if you go on the Facebook page, I have a Facebook page called the National Military Basketball Tournament.
Okay.
Go on there. I post updates all the time. I also have a page, Military Basketball All Branches. For all branches, which is like a big old bulletin board, and we post everything that's going on. Through that page, they can contact me.
Okay.
They send me a message. I'll get right back to them. If they want to register and come, just like I told you, hey, I got you. I will take care of you getting in on base, getting you clearance and all that good stuff. All you got to do is show up in San Antonio. Okay. Once you get to San Antonio, I got you. Just contact me.
Okay.
Contact me directly. That's what I do. This is my job. This is what I do year round, 24/7. I'm all about basketball.
Okay.
So you can definitely contact me, and we'll get them squared away.
Now, Coach, now be careful what you ask for.
Hey, we love it. We love it. We're looking for, just like you said, we're looking for the exposure. We're trying to do big things for military basketball. Hey, and we want to do more for our servicemen and women who have not gotten that opportunity. That's what we're all about. We're trying to give them an opportunity. And if there's a coach out there willing to give them an opportunity, we got some hoopers to give them.
Okay. Now, see, as I said, be careful what you ask for. That's my partner in crime right there.
You love it. Come on down.
Okay.
And you can stay with Carl.
Carl's my guy, so I just saw him in Orlando. So, that's my guy. He already knows. And look, listen, be careful what you asking for. People are already, they circling the block. They circling like.
And we welcome it. Please, we welcome it. Come on down. Come on down. Okay. The more exposure, the better. That is from the heart. 100.
Okay. Now remember that, because that's my guy right there. So please understand, we'll be there to support. We'll be there to support with post-game interviews, whatever we can do to help to take this to the next level, because this is something that definitely needs to be, more people need to pay attention to this. And, I'm a post-grad guy, so I do help the post-grads, but in the same sentence, a lot of families don't have the money for post-grads. So this is the next valuable option to come check it out.
You're right. I couldn't agree more.
So yeah, and see now you causing trouble. Now you got Coach Little getting everything ready, having the
listen. That's my guy. Open. That's what he does.
And listen,
that's what he does.
He already knows we would be open to have a podcast down there to expose, get this exposure out there. So yes, this won't be a problem at all to get this up and going at all. Like I said, I've been excited since Coach Little been on the show, and I don't even know how we got on the topic about this. And it just took a life of its own once we started talking about it. And man, once I was like, okay, thank you, everybody. And I'm already texting like, hey man, tell me about this, and it's been on my mind so much because I was thinking to myself, I know I can't be the only person. So what I did is I just tested the market and started asking some coaches, hey, have you ever done this? Hey, have you ever been out there and thought about this? No, we haven't. Man, I think this is a good option, especially for you guys that are looking for, you want to go older, as they say. Here you go.
You want that experience. You want that character guy. That person who's, you don't have to worry about too much. That person is already squared away. You ain't got to worry about trying to fork out no scholarship because it's already paid for. Mm-hmm. He's done his time. He just wants the opportunity to hoop.
Okay.
Come in physically fit, ready to go.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to be physically fit if he's been in the middle. Well, he has to be fit because you have those fitness tests. So that goes without saying. So, okay. So the next big thing, so what you're having this week is every year, right? In San Diego?
Yes, sir. What happens is it rotates. It rotates every year through the service branches. Mm-hmm. This year it happens to be the Navy's turn to host. Next year it'll be another branch of service. I want to say it's probably going to be Army next year because they haven't hosted since 2010.
Okay.
So it's their turn. But we do have it every year. This tournament is so competitive that really and truly, when you look at the tournament setup itself, we play 7 games in 7 days. That means, the NBA doesn't do that. College basketball doesn't do that. So it's a grind. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Each game is knockout, rock 'em, sock 'em, drag out because nobody wants to lose to the other. As you see, all my brothers that's been tagging in. Hey, we all love each other. We're friendly. We talk almost every day, weekly, except for next week. It's like Duke, Carolina, every day for 7 days.
Okay.
It's physical. The physicality. It's some of the best basketball, man. It is. It's hard to describe. It is, and it's heartfelt. It's passionate. Everything that we bring to the battlefield, to the war zone, you name it, it's on the hardwood. And at the end of the day, we shake hands. We're still brothers and sisters in arms. But for next week, it's a battle. And normally what happens after that is we pick the all-tournament team. Normally we pick the all-star. It's like an all-star team. They become all armed forces Team USA.
And they travel the world, right?
Yes. Normally we would go to Belgium to the SHAPE tournament, which is made up of our NATO allies. We go over there as Team USA. We probably practice for a couple weeks. and then we go on and we pretend we go ahead and compete against Lithuania, Latvia, Great Britain, the Shape Team, UK, Netherlands, all of our our rivals, France, who happened to beat us last year in the gold medal game. The women won it.
So are those military? Like, is that like France's military? Or is this like pros? What is it?
Now, good question. A lot of those players that you see on the Olympic team, because a lot of those countries, you have to serve in the military.
Okay.
For at least 2 years. So you have we played France. Most of France's team was all pros. They were pro players. So and once they found out they was playing in USA in the finals, they flew their pros in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they flew their pros in to play us. And when we say the gap is gone, the talent gap is narrowed. If you've seen the Redeem Team video, it's true. It's true. What Jason Kidd said, it's true. The other countries are catching up, and they don't fear us no more. They don't fear us. You can look at the Luka Doncic. Look at the players that's come from overseas, from Europe.
Yeah, Giannis is from Europe, so yeah, definitely.
It's big time. It's big time. And they love the opportunity to compete against the U.S. They do. Whether it's all armed forces or what, we get to see a couple of the players that say the dream teams that get to see, but we do get to see some of them when they are serving in their military doing their commitment. A lot of them have at least a 2-year commitment.
Okay.
So you see a lot of those players, and you definitely see them in the Olympics every 4 years. But we also have a military Olympics called the CISM, or the Military World Games. That happens every 4 years for the military armed forces teams, countries.
Okay.
So we're preparing for that. We should be having one coming up in probably the next 18 months or so.
Okay. So when you have the Military World Games, does that affect the military basketball tournament, or everything just goes on as planned? You just add that Military World Games.
So what happens is when we have a World Games scheduled, we will have an Armed Forces tournament prior to that World Games to select our all-star team, who's going to be our Team USA, to go participate in the World Games. Such as what happened in 2019. We had an Armed Forces tournament in June of 2019, and that all Armed Forces team that was picked from that tournament in June left to go to Wuhan, China in October.
Wow. Man. Yeah, that, like you're saying, and so when you make that world team, how does that affect your job on base? Do they still have to get permission, or is it more like, okay, this is what you're going to be doing now?
They get permission. They still get permission because this is the big thing. Because just think of the unit that allowed their athlete to go and participate and to come back and say, hey, man, this person was over in Wuhan, China, representing the country on the biggest stage in athletics. That boosts everybody from the base to the unit to the service. It's a big deal. If you recall, when COVID first came on, China said it was our athletes that brought COVID there because we were there at that time.
Yeah.
And they blamed on the U.S., but we didn't take COVID over there. We all know that.
Yeah.
But that was what they used. That was the propaganda that they was feeding the world. Okay. But yes, it's a big time. Yes, they do get permission. And believe it or not, it's more than the service at that point in time. It's about the country.
Correct.
It's about USA. It's about us putting our best and brightest out there on the big stage to represent the country. It's no different than the Olympics. When you get these individuals that play all armed forces next week, and they get the opportunity to get that jersey to don USA across their chest, this might be the only Olympics that they get to play in. So it's a real big honor, and it is taken as such.
I can imagine. I can definitely imagine. Listen, like these opportunities. I gotta have you on the show again. Like, well, even past this, let's just go ahead and announce we'll be there in April. We're going to be there because we want people to see what this is like. We want to see it pass, the live stream. We'll do the post game and all that stuff to give this the feel of the Final Four because, man, like you said, this is something that until Coach Little brought it to my attention, man, I was just like, man, this is amazing. Why don't more people know about this? And now it's just really getting the word out there. So, if you want to still play basketball, sometimes you don't have the grades, and I get it. Sometimes you're not college material. I get that. Here you go, right here. And it's benefiting you to teach you a trade when basketball is done because even with the military, and if you are good enough to make the team, the ball is still going to stop bouncing. Don't expect to be playing for the military team for 15 or 20 years. That's not going to happen.
Correct. And you hit the nail on the head when you talk about the NCAA. We try to give them that NCAA feel. We do the whole nine. We give them championship rings at the end of the tournament. They cut down the nets one shining moment. We give them the banner to go back and take to their base and post up in their gym. They get the whole nine, the hats, the jerseys, the whole. We try to give them that whole NCAA March Madness feel as best as we can.
So let me ask this as you just brought that up. So, okay, so the tournament that's next week, that's a mixture of all the bases, correct?
Yes, it's the best from each branch.
Okay.
From worldwide. When we got on our All Air Force team, the furthest individual we got an individual made the team. He's stationed in Aviano, Italy.
Wow. Okay.
So he's here on leave from Italy to hoop. And then a lot of times before he goes back, he'll take some leave while he's back here in the States to visit his family. And then he'll go back and we'll fly him back to his base, his home station. So each branch does that.
Okay. So after this is over, and that's why I just want to make sure I had this understanding. And you said you go back into like the regular season, right? So that regular season, is that more of branch against branch, or how does that work?
That is actually branch against branch, base against base. It could be branch versus the same branch. It could be different bases, different locations of where you're stationed at. You might have an Air Force base, Barksdale Air Force Base, playing Lackland Air Force Base. Barksdale Air Force Base is in Louisiana, Lackland's is in Texas. Okay. So, it's a mixture of everybody. Military basketball, with the exception of probably the Marine Corps. Marine Corps, they kind of sit. They're like only 3 installations, pretty much, in the States. So they're a real close knit group.
Okay, and so this regular season that you're referring to, does it build up to a playoffs or a championship?
Yes. Okay. There is a organization called the NBA, Military Basketball Association, who runs conferences through the bases. Mm-hmm. They have a conference based on the region. We have what we call the Pac West Conference. There's a Central United States Military Basketball League. There is the CMAC, which falls under their own independent, the Southeastern Military Athletic Conference. We have the WAMAC, the Washington Area Military Athletic Conference. So you have all 4 regions covered, from the west all the way to the east.
Okay.
And so every base that's within those locales, if they want, or a lot of them, if they have the funding or the backing from their base, a lot of these teams pay out of pocket, to be honest, just to hoop. Okay. A lot of these guys pay out of their own pocket, travel, and do everything to get that exposure in the hoop.
Okay. So, as we were saying, it's understood that some coaches know about this, and the idea, that we all wanted to see happen is to see more coaches start to come and, and understand, everybody's not for everybody, but it's the idea to see, just like when they come to AAU or they come to JUCO jamborees, if they pick 3 or 4 guys, that's really a win either way. And so, like I said, when Coach Little, like I already know Coach Little out there with the cheat sheet. I already know, and now that you're mentioning all these other guys, Coach Crenshaw and the rest of them, I know they're at least taking a peek. And so what's going to end up happening is, not really even unfortunately, a lot of even Coach Little's conference, you know what I'm saying? The Ohio Valley, and which now they're in the A-Sun as well. But you're going to have some of these coaches that are watching the show and say, hey, we need to get a leg up as well. We don't want to miss out on the next guy that, like Leonard Hamilton, Coach Hamilton picked up. You just never know. And, I look at this like this is going to be a very valuable asset for college coaches in the near future.
Yes, sir.
And, like I said, Hoops Hitting Gyms is locked in. Love of the Game is locked in to help this. And we're excited to see this grow, definitely. And, and whatever we can do to help, well, we appreciate you as well for what you guys do. And thank you for your service as well. That's just one of these things where this is really a bonus. And, Coach Little, we thank you as well. Let me ask this, because there's one thing and we can go offline about this as well. Do you have a Twitter page for the military tournament? Because that's where the coaches are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have a Twitter handle that comes directly to me. All AF Men's BB at Twitter.
Can you repeat that one more time? Because I'm sure coaches are going to want to, catch that one.
Yep, it's all AF for Air Force, Men's BB basketball at Twitter.
Okay. And then they can reach out to you and they can ask you about the military basketball tournament or anything they like in regards to, hey, like you said, hey, how can we register? How we can get out there to San Antonio? All that good stuff.
Most likely. And offer me a job, too, if they want.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Listen, hey, this platform is for advertising as well. Trust me. So shoot your shot. Trust me. Shoot your shot.
Oh,
I'm not mad about that. Man, now I want to thank you so much for coming on, man. And, you're the only one I had for tonight, and I was totally fine with that because, like I said, I'm going to spend the night clipping up some of the information you gave out so people can understand what this is. And Coach Little, I still got to clip up yours as well because, what you gave the last show was very valuable as well, which led to this. And I want to thank all you guys. I can't wait to meet all of you, in the upcoming months because we're excited to bring whatever we can to help build this.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Listen, like I said, I can't wait for the live one. So what we'll probably do is try and get all you guys in a round table, from each service,
That'd be awesome.
And we can talk everything about the benefits of each service. And, I want kids to look at this because, like I said, a lot of times, sometimes it's not about going to college because that may not be the route for, a teenager or somebody in their early 20s. And I want people to understand this. And I'm not an active recruiter. I'm just giving options,
opportunities out there.
Yes. I don't want parents chopping my head off talking about, you told my baby not to go to college and go to the military. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is an additional opportunity. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Listen, Coach, I appreciate you so much. Like you said, and on top of that, I'm not telling them to not go to college, he or she not to go to college. If I turn around and tell a parent, well, if you don't have the money, they can go here for 4 years, play basketball, get out, get a free education, and it's paid for by the military. I want to hit that home so much for people to understand it, and like you said, and Coach Little been giving all the tidbits tonight, in regards to, and he's right. There are people that have actually did this as himself, and a number of people have did this. And even past this, for you coaches that are trying to break in, this is another valuable way to do it. We've just mentioned a couple of people, like you said, yourself, you coached the JUCO ranks, you coached in other levels of basketball as well, and you're fortunate enough to do this, and you're still looking, hey, who's to say somebody's not watching this, like you said, and this may be your last year. You never know. You never know. So,
Never know.
Listen, I would definitely wish you the best, but, it's obvious you have a passion for this, and, to have a passion, to love something you do, and you get to travel to every base. I was thinking to myself, oh man, that's a nice gig right there.
It's very fulfilling. It is.
Absolutely. And like you said, have you had any kids that you've actively been recruited to colleges?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I've had a few that's been they've been courted quite a bit.
Okay.
None of them have actually took it up yet
because the next step.
They're still serving.
Okay, gotcha.
There are some that are getting strong looks, and my prior college coach is salivating over one. He's just still on active duty. So
okay. And now that's one last question before I let you go. That's a great thing you just brought up. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, like you said, you got coaches like, Coach, I got to have this kid. Well, they can't just be like, well, I'm going to leave the military and I'm going to go to school now. That's a situation where they have to finish out what they need to
finish
do.
Their commitment.
Yes. Okay.
They have to finish out their commitment.
And I wanted to make sure that was brought up so people don't, oh, well, I'm going to go here and I'm going to leave after 1 year. No, you're not doing that. No.
If you signed up for 4, you're going to give us 4. 4 or 6.
Exactly. And, I wanted to make sure that was understood so people don't think they're going to be one and done and up out of there.
Right.
No, you're not. No, you can still keep moving. And like you said, it's not even guaranteed you're going to be on the all-military team the next year, because as competitive as it is, you may not make it.
Facts.
And Coach Little, once again, or go to ROTC as well. So the ROTC guys can play as well? Or
if they're active duty, so yes, in a way, but
okay,
they have to go through commissioning. But there are other programs such as the LEAD program. There are other ones where we call Palace Chase, or things that you actually leave active duty, where the armed forces will let you leave active duty so that you can go pursue your career in ROTC and come back once you get your degree. So that's kind of what he's talking about there, that you can go to ROTC while you're on active duty.
Wow, that's big right
actually
there.
Playing pro ball. You can actually be playing pro ball and going to school through ROTC, but with the understanding that once you finish and get your degree in ROTC, you're going to come back to the military and serve as an officer.
Okay, I got you. So that's a creative way, like you just said. So basically, you could go and say, hey, I'm going to go ROTC, which will get you into the college program, ROTC. But like you said, when you graduate, you coming back.
And you still can be making your money hooping at the same time.
Gotcha.
While you're getting your degree. Because you're getting your degree through the military.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still making your money, you're getting your scholarship taken care of through the military, with the understanding and the commitment that once you graduate, you're going to have to serve a certain amount of time as a commissioned officer.
So, and one last question as I think of that as well. Wouldn't the service academies take a look at these guys? That
They
wouldn't
do.
that make sense?
They do. And
Okay.
it's I know for the Air Force it's pretty stringent because they are
Okay.
really, really stringent upon the age requirement.
Okay. Gotcha.
On the age requirement. And now because I have guys always at the base level,
Mm-hmm.
at the base level who haven't played all Air Force yet, they look at those individuals
Okay.
for properly going to like a prep school.
Yes.
Get the grades up at the prep school and then going on to the academy after they get the grades up or meet the entry level requirements, and then they play at the academy.
Because the Air Force has a prep school, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes, they do. Because I met the coach. I met him. I forgot where I was at. Whether I was in the airport or I was at an event, and he started bragging. I was like, "You got a prep school?" He was like,
You're
"Yes, we
talking. You're
do."
talking to one of them right now. Justin Hammonds was the coach there too at the prep school
Okay. Okay.
before he came there. He was one of the coaches there.
Okay. Yeah. And like you said, that's really a whole nother conversation right there because that prep school for the military, I was like, wait, what? And as he was just telling it to me, I don't know if I was at the airport, but when he was breaking it down to me, I was like, man, I had no idea. Like, this is what a lot of these service academies do.
That's right.
There you go, right on cue. I didn't know that as well. I didn't know all of them had prep schools. Didn't know it. Man, that's just like I said. I feel like I got a new toy and I'm just learning like so much still. But that's fine. Like I said, I'm going to get to know all you guys very well in the next 6 to 7 months, building up to April. I can't wait. I definitely can't wait.
Likewise.
So listen, Coach, I appreciate you so much for coming on tonight. Coach Hammonds, Coach Little, who'd I miss? I know I missed somebody.
Coach Bonner.
Coach Bonner, thank you guys for being in the chat tonight. I look forward to Coach Little. I already know you. The rest of you guys, I look forward to meeting you guys as well. This is going to be something I really think is going to be really good. And Madre Allen will be another guy that you guys will want to meet as well. And he'll be just as excited as well.
Awesome.
Matter of fact, there you go right there. You know, had two teammates get scholarships to Norfolk State. And Norfolk State, Coach Jones is a friend of the show as well. So this just all makes sense. It makes so much sense because I feel like we're just here to connect the dots to what you guys are trying to do. That's the way I look at it. And, you know, the exposure thing, oh, there you go. He said one last thing before we miss. So next week is the week of the road. Now, you don't have to explain that one to me offline because
that's an inside joke.
Okay.
He likes to refer to himself as he's talking about next week is the row. That's what he refers to the All Army men's basketball team.
Okay.
And you know, he's throwing up them gold medals up there. So
because they won it a couple times in a row.
Yeah, he likes to call himself I call him fake A Suge Knight. Or the death row. That's my guy.
Listen, hey, too bad he's at Austin Peay and he's still not out there trying to do his thing for this, but I'm sure he'll be there to watch just like I am as well. We'll probably be sitting courtside talking while we're watching the game, evaluating. No Definitely. No Listen, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, this won't be the last time you come on the show because this is so important that I want people to, you know, learn some more about. You know, Coach Hammonds, much love to you too, brother. Like I said, I can't wait to see this thing take off. And, you know, like I said, I'm pretty sure at some point, within the next week or so, we'll all be speaking some more about this because, you know, I can't wait to see what we can do for this. And, we'll be clipping this up and sending it out to you guys, and we'll be promoting it. And we'll definitely be promoting it at the end of the day. So I'm looking forward to it. And, we're going to wrap this show up. It's been a great hour. Like I said, Coach Richardson, whenever you want to come on the show, you are a friend of the show at any time, brother.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll definitely be back.
I'll definitely be back. Listen, we're going to wrap up the show tonight. For you people that are not privy to this all military, I want you all to check it out, whether it be next weekend, this weekend on live stream. And I'm sure Coach Richardson and everybody else will be putting out the information for it for the live stream. I'll be retweeting it as well. So if anybody misses it, you can check my page for the retweet, for all the information. So we're going to keep building this thing because this is a valuable option that needs to be heard. So that's going to do it for tonight. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And for you people that missed the show, you'll be able to watch the repeat on YouTube at any time. Just go to Hoops Hitting Gems, and this is episode 65. Just type that in. It'll pop up. You can watch it at any time. We're going to sign off tonight, and I appreciate everybody for coming on. You all have a good night.
Hey, you too, Coach.
All right. You take care.
Have a good one.